Wayne King, thank you so much for sitting down with us. I know you got a big race coming up in a week, so there's a lot to talk about, and obviously we waited till the very end here so you could get your message out one more time. So once again, thank you. Going to dive right into it. Why are you running? That's the question everybody gets asked, so we'll start right with that.
Why am I running? Because I think this town really needs some help. As far as the crime is concerned, I do not believe it's all being reported. I think a lot of the people are afraid to call the police, or because the police are so unresponsive at times, they don't even call. I literally just received a letter today about a business owner that has been trying to get a hold of Jake Day and Chief Duncan, and there's just absolutely no responses. I mean, literally, this is the letter right here, and it's crazy. As far as the economics of this city is, he says we added 2,700 jobs, and I don't know what jobs we added, but to me, we probably added a lot of low-paying jobs. I mean, we did lose a Kmart. We did lose Grander Mountain. We did lose several businesses, so I don't know if he's adding the 2,700 and then he's not subtracting what we did lose. But as far as me running for mayor, I really think I can help this city out. I really do. My business background, I know would help this place out. I love the city, I do. You guys keep asking me why I bought a house here. I bought a house here because
first time we've sat down.
And I set roots here because I really like the people here, and I like the demographics, and I like the geographic setup of this city. I like that we're on a river. I like that we're 30 miles away from the ocean. I like to play golf. There's golf courses all over the place. The people are very nice. I like a diverse population. It's very similar to my home. So I just wanted to move to a place that was very similar to my home, and and I picked Salisbury. And what a lot of people don't understand is they ask me, why didn't you get involved earlier? Well, when I first got here, I got sick. Okay, I was battling with the hospitals for a couple of years. Okay, I got diverticulitis and I got a lot of infections. I'm perfectly healthy now. But I didn't really start feeling better until literally last January. So I had a couple of years that were just burned. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I did do a lot of help as far as on Long Island. The one thing I don't do is when I do help people, I don't help people so I can tell people. I just don't do it. I will help a person and I'm not going to go tell somebody I did it. A lot of the people around here are sitting there, they do something good for a person and then they seem to have to brag about it. I do not do that. Okay, I do not tell people that I've literally had veterans living in my house because I felt bad for them or I got them a hotel room, which is true. And the thing is, I don't talk about it, and I just did because people, they want to know. But I am.
Yeah, are you involved with any charitable efforts on Delmarva that you want to talk about?
And the reason why you know why I don't get involved in charities? Because they could spend 50% on administration. That's why. So if you give $10 to just say the Heart Society, they could take $5.
So how do you like to give back? I'm just trying to narrow
the way I like to
that
give
out.
back is by helping the individual. If I have a person that is starving on the street and they're asking for money, I will not give them money, but I will take them out to lunch. I'll bring them into a pizzeria and buy them a couple slices of pizza. I did have a person that I went to a bar. It was at happy hour one day, and there was a vet there that got shot up, and he actually stepped on an IED or got hit by an IED. And I hear him talking on the phone with his mother, and for some reason the money didn't come through or something like that. And I set him up in a hotel. And I knew he didn't get the money yet, so I actually let him stay at my house for a couple days. That kind of stuff. I don't need to go to charities. I could be my own charity in a sense. And that's how I do it.
You talk about your background as a businessman. Maybe you could talk to us. I think you're retired here, right? Is that?
I kind of semi-retired. I was still probably going to get a sales job in some type because I love sales. I absolutely love it. I was born to do sales.
Still will, could. What are your thoughts about maybe getting in sales? I mean, are you debating it, thinking about it? Maybe
I will.
I guess you're doing the mayoral
I will.
run first,
if I do
right?
not win mayor,
okay.
I'll probably go out and get a job. The first thing I'm going to do is probably go play a round of golf because I haven't played any golf in a while.
What's the first thing you want to do, once you become mayor? What would be the first thing that you would tackle?
Audit the city. I would audit it. I need to know what's going on. And I was looking up the charter, and I know a councilman or a mayor can audit the city at any time. So I will bring in a private CPA firm that I totally trust. My brother's a CPA. He knows a lot of CPAs in the country because he does a lot of seminars and stuff like that. So I'll bring someone in here to audit and find out where the money's been going. because we've spent a lot of money on this downtown down here. You know, the downtown does look pretty good, but the thing is, when you talk about hundreds of millions of dollars that were spent, okay? I mean, Jake just sold another $12.48 million worth of municipal bonds that we're going to have to pay back. See, the one thing that people don't realize is also when we get a grant, that's tax money. We get a grant from the state. You know, we pay 6% tax. So don't think that's free money. That is not, a grant is not free money. It is tax money, okay? So Jake basically took our long-term debt from $86 million to $106 million. That's 23.3% increase of the entire history of this city. And also a lot of the grants he got, he's been putting into just the downtown. And that concerns me. It concerns a lot of my neighbors. It concerns a lot of people here. I don't know how many people live downtown, but where the money should be going is around the downtown to help out these neighborhoods. Of course, we do need to help the infrastructure in Salisbury, in the downtown. But, I mean, when you think about it, okay, you got wood pipes. He likes to talk about wood pipes. Well, we're not laying down new wood pipes. Why don't you just rip them out and throw them in the dumpster like you would do with any pipe? I don't know why that's slowing things down. Why do you have a trench dug in front of City Hall for now months? To me, are the guys working? Are they doing things? Do they know what they're doing? Because personally, I mean, I sold contracting for a few years. That's the kind of stuff I wouldn't stand for. It seems like we're spending a lot of money and we're not moving fast enough.
But you agree the projects need to be done?
Yes, I do believe the water system has to be redone. As far as the streets being redone, I don't think we have to do them all at one time. We don't have many businesses down here. We really don't. I mean, if you remember, I did in the Bassett interview, I mean, there's a lot of law firms down here. There's a handful of bars and restaurants, but there's really not much more going down here. And the other thing that I find really crazy is that he's selling all our parking lots. He sold all the parking lots, but I believe he said number 10 and 15. Now, I found the parking lots, and I'm like, this is not going to be good for this city. Because, you know, and I've read a lot of the same city planning stuff that he's been reading, and I don't think we're ready for it. The city of Salisbury is not ready for it. And also, you got to look at who he's selling the parking lots to. There's a little collusion going on here with some of the people that he's friends with here. Okay, it's the same thing as the people that were on the National Festival Board. It's the same thing with a lot of the parking lots that's being sold here and a lot of the buildings that's being sold here. That's our tax money. I really think that our tax money is being funneled into the pockets of some of these people in this city. And I don't think it's fair. Everybody talks about it, but no one wants to say anything about it because they're afraid. I'm not afraid, okay, so I will say it. And I don't need to say their names. I think everybody knows who the names are that are connected with this. So I'm not going to sit there and call out people because most of the people do know there is a certain amount of corruption going on here. There's no doubt in my mind, and it needs to be fixed.
I mean, those are serious allegations. You got corruption, collusion, misappropriation, and stat manipulation. I mean, do you think it's that serious? I mean, you are basically painting a picture of a felon in office.
I'm not calling him a felon. I'm calling him a politician.
I mean, those are things that would rise to the level of a felony.
A lot of the politicians do this stuff. They do, and they get away with it, and they think it's...
But it seems like you're doing it based off speculation and not actual principled evidence.
Well, go out and speak to the neighbors. Go out and speak to anybody here. I mean, they don't believe the crime stats are correct. I mean, I have paperwork right here where, you know, half of the people, and this is from the FBI, half of the people that have a violent crime do not call the police. Okay? And like 2/3 of them will not call the police on property crime because they don't think the police are going to do anything. And okay, so I'm not calling him a felon for that. I'm saying that's just the atmosphere that's been developed here. I mean, as far as selling land for, you know, a parking lot for $5,000, you could sit there and go, well, that's not illegal. But why did you sell it for $5,000 when maybe you could have sold it for a couple $100,000? So is it illegal? No, it's not illegal. Am I calling him a felon? No, I'm not calling him a felon. I'm just saying there is corruption and there's collusion here. There's no doubt about it. You just can't, you're not going to be able to arrest them for doing it. That's all. I mean, if I do you a favor, Ryan, it doesn't mean that, you know, it's not illegal to do you a favor, is it? No, I just happen to like you, so I'm going to do you a favor. And that's what's happening. I don't believe in favoritism, not when it comes to office. Okay, and the great thing about me coming here from Long Island is that I do not owe anybody anything. I'm not afraid to say anything. I do see what's going on. The people know what's going on. Let the people decide on what I just said. Let the people decide what I just said, if it's true or not.
I think people
Okay.
want like an emotional attachment to the area. You know, they do the thing where this person's from here, or you know, this person was in this middle school with my child. What, you know, you're not someone who's lived here your entire life, and I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but how would you respond to that and say that, you know, or reassure people that you do have an emotional connection to the area?
Very simple. I actually put money into the area by buying a house.
Not financial though, I mean emotional. Like what's the emotional
Right. Well,
connection?
I emotionally love the business. You know, the people that were here. That's really the emotion that's there. And I'm not here to bash the city. I like this city. I just think the potential hasn't been reached. I mean, emotionally, I mean, no, I did not have children here and went to school with other people's kids.
Right.
But you know what? I do know a lot more about this city than the average person out there, because I've been researching it. I do not know as many people as other people because they lived here their whole lives. But on Long Island, I mean, how many people do you truly even know? I mean, as you get older, you know, the circle of friends you have gets smaller and smaller. And they're usually your best friends that are there. And I've made a lot of good friends here, okay? So being a come here, I really think it doesn't matter, because look at the President of the United States, no matter who the President is. Okay, it doesn't matter if he came from Arkansas, Nebraska, New York, wherever. He's going to have an entire country to run. So what are you going to say? The president is to come here? I'm an American. That's it. I'm an American. And I think everybody should think of it as that way. I am a U.S. citizen. I am an American, and I love America. And I happen to move into a part of America that could use my help. And that's what I'm looking to do.
You talk about use your help, and a lot of that maybe is predicated on your business background. Can
Yes.
we dive into that a little bit? Something I haven't had a chance to talk with you about. You know, what is your relevant business experience and how you feel it'll correlate into a position such as mayor?
Okay, I did retail and wholesale. I had to deal with city halls all the time. I did have people with their hands out that I had to grease to get permits and stuff
Where was
like
this?
that. This is in Long Island.
Long Island. Okay.
So I know this happens. I do know it happens. I also had a lot of vendors and I had a lot of employees. One thing I do know is I do know how to run a team. My team, and that's the most important about being a leader, is knowing how to run a team. Okay, my business experience, it speaks for itself. I mean, I was selling stuff online, I was selling wholesale, I was selling retail. You know, just because it's horticultural products, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, is there like a particular company that maybe people can latch on, that they would understand, maybe be able to relate to you?
Well, I got out of the business 6 years ago, and I got out of it for a good reason. Because I was selling tons of Christmas trees, and the big box stores destroyed the industry, absolutely destroyed
Like,
it.
is there a company or something that we can?
Well, it used to be called
attach it to?
10,000 Trees, the retail
Okay.
locations, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I had a partner. He's not doing the business anymore, so there's not much really to look up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess you can look through IRS records or something like that, but I mean,
It's just something for people to attach it to, you know what I mean, in case it's something that they know or they can relate to. Because I think a question that comes out of it is, you know, you seem to know a lot about Long Island and you really love it. I think we can agree with that. I mean, you can still call it home. Is there a reason maybe you didn't, you know,
I don't call
to,
Long Island home anymore.
Well,
I call
mean, you did in the
Salisbury
interview,
home.
but okay, moving aside from that, is there a reason maybe you didn't run for, you know, politics or mayor in Long
I was
Island?
never involved in politics on Long Island. I was working my butt off. All I did is work.
Well, I mean, you did just say you worked interconnected with politicians through your sales experience. So I just thought it'd be a relevant question as to why
I
maybe
never
you didn't
thought
run.
of running for office. I never thought about running for office here until I saw Jake Day, and he was absolutely fibbing all over the place, like on the next door neighborhood website.
You never felt like that happened in Long Island to a point
I
that
just
maybe
never got involved in politics on Long Island. I was always watching national politics.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the way it was. I mean, they don't even have a mayor of Huntington. I think it's a supervisor or something like that.
So is it more like the circle of friends or people that you've, you know, come accustomed to, that you had interactions with the mayor, or?
Well, from me walking around and speaking to people, a lot of people disliked Jake Day. A lot of them. And they were telling me things that were happening that they thought were unfair. And I also saw the crime myself. And I didn't understand why the crime was not getting better here.
Prior
I
to
just
running,
don't.
did you ever try to have a conversation with him to
No,
maybe
no.
gauge where things were?
No, no. I've watched several of his, obviously many dozens of his interviews and stuff on TV. Some of them with you.
Right.
You know, but I don't trust the man. And I think that's the biggest issue I think a lot of the people in this city have, is they don't trust Jake Day. You could totally trust me. I have no aspirations for moving on as a politician. I just want to do the job, run the city. I'm not going to be running around doing selfies and all that kind of stuff. My job is to manage a city and manage the workers and get the job done.
Yeah.
And do it fairly, with no favoritism. Okay, and that is very important. No favoritism. So I mean, why are there not more contractors working in this section? Are we having blind bids? See, the one thing I can't answer a lot of this stuff to is I'm not in City Hall. I don't know what goes on in City Hall unless you're in there. So if you ask me a question, well, how would you do this? Well, you know what? I might not know how to do it, but I'll figure it out once I get in there.
Right.
That's not, I could ask you how to do it. You wouldn't know how to do it either. And you've been studying this. I mean, I think being a mayor is basically being a manager and being a good manager. Jake doesn't have experience being a manager. So, I mean, I was a manager for years, over 20 years, managing my own business, dealing with money, counting the dollars. He's spending money like crazy right now. I mean, think about our debt. Our debt is increasing. We're going to have to pay that back sooner or later.
When you say running your own business, was that the 1,000 trees?
10,000 trees.
That was 20 years?
Yeah, for over 20
Okay.
years.
Okay.
With, I mean, and Seasonal Sensations was the name of the company it was registered under. And, we sold stuff online, and I sold a lot of wholesale products.
Yeah.
Which, because a lot of the nurseries realized that I was visiting these farms, and I can find the product that is correct, because it's an inordinary widget. If I tell you I'm going to get you a 7 to 8 foot Christmas tree and it comes rolling in at 5 to 6 feet, you're not going to be able to sell it. So me being out on the farms and tagging the trees myself and dealing directly with the farmers gave me the ability to get the right product in here. It's the same thing as Home Depot and Lowe's. I mean, look what they did. They started off selling the Christmas trees for $20. Now that they've taken over the industry, how much do the trees cost now? $40. There's a reason for that. And Walmart goes into some of these cities and towns to keep the price low. They wipe everybody out. Their downtown is all boarded up, and the only place someone has to shop is Walmart. You don't want that to happen here, right? It shouldn't happen here. Right. But I mean, I'm looking at the mall right now, and it seems like the mall's starting to empty out because people are buying online. So I could see the downtown actually thriving with nice small shops. I mean, they're not going to be low-end shops. They're going to be higher-end shops.
And isn't that where the infrastructure projects come into play? Because, I mean, from your own site, it says you need to let downtown grow organically, but I'm confused as to how that can happen if you don't have the infrastructure in place.
No, I never said. And what else does it say on my website? It also says that I will not stop doing infrastructure.
Don't try to force it with money.
Right. Don't try to.
Right. No, you're for infrastructure. I want to make that clear. But what I'm suggesting is it seems as though there's kind of a calculated shot with Jake Day as to how he goes about these infrastructure projects. So I'm just trying to narrow down. I mean, how can we do the infrastructure projects? Are you saying is it irresponsible? I'm confused as to what you mean by that. Yeah, so let's continue to talk about that. So you're talking about growing downtown organically. But I think what the mayor's office is saying is that in order to do that, we have to do these infrastructure upgrades.
And I agree. We should have high-speed internet. We should have the roads in shape. Right. Do we need things like an amphitheater? No. That was a $500,000 grant from the state that I think was a waste of money. First of all, if you go to that amphitheater, with the cars running by, you can't hear anything. And the parking is not good there. Okay? And also, I was just talking to you about the statue, the Civil War statue. That's a part of our history. You don't destroy our history because you learn from history. Okay, if you destroy all our history, then what are you going to do? Just make the blackboard, clean the slate and just start all over again? You learn from history. So I don't believe in ripping down monuments and all that stuff. It's crazy to do. I mean, there's a lot of people that complain, well, it has something to do with slavery. Well, less than 1% of the people owned slaves during that period. It's not like all our ancestors owned slaves. So, I mean, it's like my ancestors. They came over during the potato famine. They never owned slaves. We were slaves ourselves. I mean, in a sense. No, we weren't being whipped or anything like that, but we were slaves. Slaves to the people that own the businesses. Now, when I say organically, I want people to want to come here. I don't want to beg people to come here. If someone wants to open a shop, and I want someone to sit there. I mean, when I open up my own businesses, my own retail locations. I didn't have someone calling me and say, "Hey, Wayne, you want to set up a location here?" No, I used to drive around and find locations that I liked. And then I would find out who owned the building or who owned the parking lot or whatever, what have you. And that is organic. That's what I mean by
Just
organic.
saying the city shouldn't market itself?
No, of course they should.
Okay.
I even say that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You got to reach out to businesses.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, you're going to reach out to businesses by marketing, not by sitting there, I'm going to go attack that business. Now, he said he was talking to GE. That's great. But you know what? I'm a salesman. I wish I was sitting there in that room talking to GE. And I'll probably tell GE what I think would be really good here. Because I am a salesman. Okay, and I think I could.
I mean,
talk
based
to
on
them.
your platform, it seems like you'd have a hard time selling a business on coming here, based on your
Right
thoughts
now
on,
I would
on
because
crime
the
and-
crime is so high.
So how long would it be until you felt comfortable luring in a business like GE?
It all depends on the response of the police. I mean, our livability rating is very low. I'm sure people started looking that up afterwards. Our livability rating is very low. 87 cities and towns in this country have a better livability rating. And if you go, and Jake said there's no such thing as livability. I don't know what he was talking about, because I even found in USA Today they have a whole list of the top 150 or 50 top livability cities in the country, and we're obviously not one of them. So I mean, livability includes even weather. Okay, right. It could be weather, it could be crime, it could be education, housing, the job market. Now, the most important things that we have here that are getting Fs, and that is crime, that is housing, and that is also our school system, which the mayor has nothing to do with. Right. Okay, because if you actually look at and I looked this up, and I'm sure the BOE will probably scream about this, but I mean, maybe I'm looking at the wrong statistics, but supposedly we graduate on average more than the national average. Okay, but our test scores are 30% less than a national average. So that's an issue. That means we're just pushing the kids through. So but I'm not involved in the school, so it really doesn't matter. Actually, you probably want to cut that out.
That's all right. Is that a problem? That light going out?
That's okay.
You want to fix it? You good? Okay.
Yeah,
so I guess
when I say organically, okay, let's go back to organic.
Okay, that's fine.
If you want to talk about organically, yes, I will give people or businesses a tax break to come here. I would probably do something about their rent, to pay a portion of their rent. But that's going to be tax money that's going to pay that. I mean, somewhere you got to kick off the city, right? Right now, I don't even think we have a kickoff yet. So we need to bring businesses here. I'm used to a normal village, and you probably go to Berlin, and I'm used to the village from where I'm from. I'm used to going to large cities. When you go to a city, you should be able to walk around all day and have something to do. I mean, that includes going to shops. We do have a library, but it should be okay, we have the bars and restaurants, but there should be other things that people should be able to walk around. And the big thing that I get from the seniors here, and the seniors are the people that have been living here for a long time, they're saying there is absolutely nothing for them to do in the downtown other than going to get a bite to eat. That is it. Also, the other thing about what parking lots we're going to have left, there should be no parking meters, no 2-hour parking. Only on the street, and the reason for it to be on the street is so people just don't park the car and leave it there forever. But as far as the parking lot should not have 2-hour parking. It is absolutely ridiculous, because I had to go to court one day, and of course you don't know when you're going to get called. I was sitting there for 3 hours. I had a ticket on my car, because what am I going to do? Just keep getting up and throwing quarters in the meter? You can't do that. And people that I've spoken to here also do not like going out to dinner, and maybe they want to hang out and talk and have cocktails, and then they're worried about their car getting a ticket on it. So, I mean, from the amount of money that we're bringing in probably with these parking meters, is probably not even close to what we can bring in if people were able to sit down a little bit longer.
Yeah. One of the things I want to talk about is, you talk a lot about trying to unify the county executive with the executive branch of the city, the mayor's office. But one of the things that kind of stands out to me is some of these endorsements. You got the county sheriff has endorsed the mayor, Fraternal Order of Police, the police department. We've got several other prominent leaders, the governor of Maryland. So
Isn't that kind of funny, though?
But how are you going to unify these groups if you win? If they didn't endorse you, I mean, are you going to hold a grudge? Or
Did they ever
hold
meet
a grudge?
me? Did they ever meet me? How is anybody going to endorse someone if they never met anybody?
I'm not sure.
Exactly.
What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's foolish on their part to endorse somebody when they haven't even met their competitor.
Do you think
I mean,
maybe it
I
has to do
mean-
with some of the things that you've said, either about the police department or about the community at large?
No, not at
You know,
all.
they keep citing your comment, the hood of the hoods and thugs.
No, the hood of the hoods was an absolutely out of context thing that I said on the next door neighborhood when a person said, "You're from the hood," and I said, "No, maybe I'm from the hood of the hoods." And that was in April. That was way before I ever ran for mayor. And I'm just having conversation on a freaking website.
Right.
Okay?
But do you,
I
think,
am
do you think
not-
that maybe leads to you not getting endorsements? That people
No,
hear
people
that
don't
out
know
of
about that.
context,
That
or-
stuff all got erased.
Right.
They don't. You know why he erased? They had it erased because the conversation wasn't about hood of hoods. It was about something else. Totally. You can't find that conversation online anymore. Now that I'm saying, they might throw it back up there. But I mean, I'm
sure.
serious. They are not. That is not in the right content. And that was in April. It was what, a month and a half, 2 months before I even decided to run. And I'm sure you probably say, and everybody probably says some crazy things online. I wasn't planning on running for mayor. If I was planning on running for mayor, I probably would not have said that. I probably would not have been on that website. But it really doesn't matter. The reason why I didn't get endorsed by the police here is because it makes sense. It's a great political move by them. They know I'm 100% behind the police. So if they endorse me and Jake gets elected, Jake could take it out on them. Now, if they endorse Jake and I get elected, they know I'm going to take care of him anyway. Now, Hogan has no idea who I am. No idea who I am. The sheriff, I have not met Sheriff Lewis. So did he make the proper decision? I don't know. He has to think about himself. If he met me, maybe he'd say, "Hey, I really like that guy, Wayne King. I'm going to endorse him instead." But, you know, a lot of these endorsements are political.
I think one thing that you know, I just wanted to get out there is just talk about maybe one place in Salisbury that you think is underrated that you really enjoy. Just, you know what I mean?
The place where I was supposed to go out to dinner tonight, Fratelli's. You know, being from New York, I mean, you know, they got really good Italian food. Fratelli's is awesome Italian food. I've heard people say it's not real Italian food, and I was like, well, yeah, it is. And another place is DePietro's, the pizza place. That tastes like New York pizza, and they say they're New York pizza.
Yeah.
I would say it's average for New York, but it's great here.
Is there like a public place that you like to go to? I mean,
I love the
Salisbury?
park. I love the park. I bring my dog to the park like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And just walk around the pond. That's not the pond, up
I
on
know,
the
yeah.
bridge and the creek. But you know, that's why I was shocked about
Right.
the geese thing, because I showed up the same day that I started seeing online that the geese
Yeah.
were all killed.
Well, I mean, do you not like the murals or the amphitheater? Because, you know, I think people generally like them.
No, there's nothing wrong with them. But
'Cause
the thing
I
is,
mean,
why are you concentrating on murals and not concentrating on the sidewalks that are messed up? I mean, it all
But doesn't it
depends
seem
on,
like they're doing both?
They can
downtown?
do both. If it all
seems like
depends
it.
on what the cost is. No, it doesn't. No, it does not seem like they're doing both. They seem like they're doing both in downtown.
Right. That's
Do you
what
want
I'm
to?
saying.
Yeah, you want to go outside the downtown. What's being done outside the downtown? I mean, in Newton. You know, now he's going to do a Newton project. I don't know what he's doing with Fitzwater. Is he paving, or is he actually going to fix that flooding once and for all? Because paving, it's not going to do anything, because you know, water causes the roads to get messed up. You know, the Newton area neighborhood is a mess. And, you know, I want to bring the people together and have everybody feeling inclusive by doing the round table like Ireton used to have. It only makes sense. Why did Jake stop that? It makes no sense to stop that, because that way all the districts get together, the councilmen all get together, the mayor will be there too, and everybody can discuss what needs to be done or what the complaints are. The other thing I'd love to do is maybe once a month, let's work on a district just picking up the garbage, getting people to volunteer, getting people involved in their community. And what's better than making the neighborhood look better at the same time as everybody gets to meet each other? And we'll get volunteers out of that. Yeah. And I'm sure the council people would agree with it too. I mean, absolutely. But why did Jake get rid of that roundtable? I do not know. That roundtable supposedly was very successful. I know several people that were in it, and they said it was awesome, and they don't understand why it was stopped. That's how you get everybody inclusive. Because you know what you do? You're going to get the volunteers from those districts, and then they're going to talk to their people.
Right.
That's how it's done. Because some people are just going to stay at home. They're not going to come out. But I mean, you know, if your next door neighbor is part of the round table, and anybody can be part of the round table, so it's just a matter, you know, so when people have an issue, they come to the round table, and they discuss what their issue is. You know, we should get the churches involved in this too.
What's your vision of Salisbury?
I
10,
think
15 years from now?
I see Salisbury as a very, very awesome attraction for the area. We already are very much an attraction for the area. I know Berlin says they're the capital of the Eastern Shore. I've read some stuff on that. We will definitely be the capital of the Eastern Shore. I think we are now. I think the vision of me is being able to drive into the town, park, because we're going to need parking, and be able to walk around our city, our downtown, all day long and have something to do. And you know, if you want to walk to the park, if you want to go to a movie, I hear a movie theater's coming here. That would be great too. We'll see what happens there. The only thing is we're also trading dollars with the other movie theater up at the mall.
Right.
So I don't know how effectual that's going to be. I mean, I just see it being a very, very nice city. I mean, being a smart city too.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now what we have to do is we have to take our time doing this. We really need to fix the infrastructure in the you know, outside the city also. We need to just work on everything at one time. I mean, he says he wants to work on everything. You know, I could chew gum and walk at the same time. Well, it seems like the only place you're chewing gum is in the downtown. Why aren't we chewing gum outside the downtown? And the thing is, you know, you just can't keep throwing money at everything. You know, I'll bring it up again. Our debt has increased 23% under Jake Day. Okay, and the grants he's choosing are not necessarily the smart grants. Okay, when I get into City Hall, I will be able to look at all this stuff. That's why I want to audit it too. I want to see where all the money's been going. Because he said in that debate, he said a couple $100 million he wants to spend. That's a lot of money. We only bring in about $50 million a year. And about 40% of it is from the sewage and water, and 60% is from the property taxes. And most people don't know that. Our water and sewage is very expensive here.
Are you aware of what the starting pay is or the median pay for the police department? Because the numbers that the city has provided and the numbers that are on your website are different.
Yeah, on my website, I haven't been able to upgrade my website, but I know it's around 44,000.
Yeah.
42 to 44,000.
Right. They're saying
like
that the average median income of a police officer or someone in the department is around $60,000, $67,000. Did you know that?
Yes.
Thoughts on that?
Yes, now I do. Now
Thoughts
I
on
do.
that? I mean, does that change maybe your kind of spiel on how much the individuals make?
Well, I still think they should be paid just as much as the Baltimore police, but also we don't have enough police here, so a lot of these guys are running a lot of overtime. I mean, the ride along that I had with the officer, he said, you know, we do not have enough police here. I can't even take off and do some training because we just don't have enough police here. So that means they could be pulling a lot of overtime. I have to see the numbers. Until I get into City Hall, I have to see the numbers. But I mean, I think the police are being somewhat handcuffed here themselves for doing the job that they want to do. I really think these officers want to arrest certain people, and they're not arresting them because they're told to keep the figures down. Okay, and that's the feeling I got from a lot of officers I've spoken to. I mean, a lot of them do not like Chief Duncan. They don't. And you know what? And when I went to the FOP, you know, they also asked Jake why he did not get rid of Chief Duncan, because that was kind of their agreement when he was voted in. Well, not voted in, when he took office.
Do you have a problem with the community outreach end of or aspect of policing that they entail? You know, getting involved in these community events, National Night Out. Do you have an issue with that?
No, I don't have an issue with it. I don't know how effectual it is. I mean, I get a lot of
people.
Because
their model of policing seems to be, or at least the mayor's does, about building relationships, whereas yours is more arrest and detain. I mean, is that?
No, they should be out on the street talking to the people that are walking around. That's how you do it. I mean, why do you have to have hot dogs and hamburgers? I mean, why can't you just walk around at the cops? I mean, that's why we should have a lot more people, cops probably walking the beat and being on a bike or something like that, because then you can really get to know the people. I mean, they can build up their own relationship without having all these so-called parties, but I'm not against them. Why would I? But I mean, if you commit a crime, you should be arrested. That's all I'm saying about it. If you commit a crime, you should be arrested. And what it does is it sends a signal out to the other people out there that if I commit a crime, I'm going to get arrested. I mean, you know, I read that letter about crime in a debate about the woman on Washington Street. They are in terror over there. There was a kid there that was threatening them for a couple of years, and the cops constantly went there, and they never arrested the guy. They finally arrested the guy. and he ran away with the handcuffs on. This is the type of stuff that's going on here. You know, we do not have people, the cops, you know, following up a lot of these reports too, if they're even writing the report. Okay, and they're told, I think a lot of these cops, they're not writing the report because our judicial system is kind of messed up right now. I mean, they're knocking the type 1 crimes down to type 2 crimes very, very simply. You know, so say there's you know, assault with battery. It could get very simply knocked down to assault. So now it's out of the type 1 crime. Okay, and that's what's happening here. The crime is still the same here. It's just the categorization of the crime has changed. Just ask the people on the street. That's what made me decide to run, really, because I just walked around and I said to people, asked people questions. If you were mayor, what is the first thing you would do to fix this city? And everyone, 80% of them said crime. 10% said transparency. The other 10% said we need better jobs. And actually, there was a small percentage that said we need a new mayor, even though I was asking them, you know, if they were mayor, what would they would do. So there is a little bit of hatred out there for Jake. You know, there might be people that go and vote that don't even know who I am, and they'll check my name off because they don't like Jake. Okay, and there's a lot of that stuff going around too. But I really think that if people are saying that about the crime here, you would have to assume it's true. It's not a feeling. It's true. So I mean, if you want to be an investigative reporter yourself, Ryan, I would go out on the street and just start asking people, what would you do in this city if you could help this city? And I'll guarantee you're going to find at least 3/4 of them are going to say the crime. So we're still the second most dangerous city in Maryland after Baltimore. There's no doubt about that. That could take years to get below that. I understand that. But I mean, I want the people to feel safe here. I mean, I went to Tees Market, that's right up the street here. And I was doing some campaigning. I was speaking to the person out there. I walked out of the place. A guy asked me for $1. I said, I'm not giving you $1. He stood up and said he was going to kick my butt and shoot me in the face. And he said, there's 3 of them. He said, there's 3 of us, there's only 1 of you. And this is happening all over our city. All over the city. And you know what? I think at this point, I don't even think the people are calling the police on these people anymore. I mean, they were literally threatening me. I was scared. And I'm sitting there dressed nicely, walking out of the convenience store, and someone is threatening my life over I won't give them $1. So that is happening all over Salisbury. I am constantly getting panhandled at all these stores. You know, Jake never answered that question. What did you do as far as those business letters that were given to you a year and a half ago? He never answer that in the debate. I would like an answer to that. We deserve an answer to that. Why didn't you not answer? He says he's an advocate of small businesses. Why did he not pursue all those letters? And they were emailing and calling constantly. Why did he never respond? Why? There's got to be a reason why. Is he afraid of confrontation? Or is he trying to, afraid of trying to fix the problem? Because one of the guys said to Jake, I think the crime is getting worse here, and Jake freaked out. That was one of the business owners when they first met him, and they said, listen, get everybody together. Jake said this, get everybody together, and we'll sit down and we'll have a meeting about this. They all sent, letters in about what was going on at their business. They all asked them, when are we going to have the meeting? Jake never responded to them. I also have all the emails. If you guys want the proof, I've got them all. So, just go ahead and ask me. I'll provide all the proof you want. And the thing about it is these businesses do not want me to publish these letters. And they told me, they said they're afraid to. They're afraid the good old boy network is going to take it out on them. So it's real. It's living here. So, don't think it's not living here, because people are afraid, especially the business people, of speaking up. Mm-hmm. And that's why they contacted me. They contacted me out of nowhere. I didn't even approach them. And they approached me because they saw that I was going to be hard on crime and, try to clean up the homelessness here. It looks like the homelessness is actually getting better. I think Jake has probably put his foot down on the pedal a little bit, because I don't see as much as there was. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that we could take a place like a Campbell's factory and convert it into a shelter of some type. I don't know if these shelters around here are doing the right thing. They're either homeless because they're on drugs or psychotic. I met some people that are just absolutely just not on their meds, and they're just going nuts. You know, you see them walking up and down the street sometimes. They're yelling at the sky at nothing. You know, and there's no facilities here to really help these people. But you can't leave them out on the street either. You can't let these people, you know, sit in front of our businesses and panhandle people. People aren't going to walk in. As being a former business owner and seeing everything that I've seen in my life, you know, I mean, I know how to do accounting. I know how to do all that stuff. Am I an accountant? No, but I know how to do all the pieces of everything to run a business. Of course, I bring the pros in when I need it. But that's what I'm going to do with the city. I'm going to bring in pros. I'm not going to claim that I know everything. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it. You know, Jake is, as far as I hear, is a narcissist. He will not listen to the people around him. But also, the people around him are also very young and inexperienced. So I'm going to try to bring in very experienced people in here that know the area, know who all the people are that they have to get a hold of. Like, you know, the city administrator is by far the most important person you can have underneath you. That's the person that's really running the city, because originally the mayor is supposed to be a part-time job. That's why the mayor only makes $25,000 a year. But it's turning into a full-time job, though. That's the thing. So literally, Jake voted against raising the salary. Now, why would he do that? No, it kind of makes him look good, right, Ryan? But also, if you keep that salary low, guess what? No one's going to run against them. You can't run you can't raise a family on that money. You can't. $25,000. You can't raise a family. Yeah. So let's keep it at $25,000, because I got Daddy's money over at Purdue that's going to feed me cash. Okay, he just bought him a house for $350,000, and you can look up the deed. I mean, I couldn't even believe you guys asked me if I lived here. Why didn't you guys just look it up? You could look it up and see where I lived. But I was happy you guys did ask me, because obviously there's a rumor out there. I didn't even know there was a rumor out there that I didn't live in Salisbury.
Right.
But I mean, if you want, you can come over to my house. I mean, you know, or go to Marley Manor and say, hey, you remember that guy Wayne King with the little red dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived here.
Appreciate it.
I've lived here for a while.
Well, thank you for doing the interview.
Yeah, I hope you cut it up nice and just.
We'll make you look good, I promise. But
I really hope
so much.
so.
Best of luck on Election Day.